Okay, Hallie's in the house, but so is Tyler Mays, and we're going to talk about Anderson County government. We're going to, Tyler is a newly elected chairman, and between the lines, excited to have him on the show. And we'll have Shelley Vandergrift next week, who is the vice chairman. I don't think she's the first woman to be vice chairman, but she certainly is exciting. Second one, something like that. But I've been preaching this for 6 months. It's a new generation of leadership. These young people are exciting. When I say young, I mean 35 to 47, 48, 30s and 40s, and it's their time. And I'm a big advocate, and I push forward every day that we get younger people in office and we get younger people to take on these roles and get them ready. That's part of our responsibility. But Tyler won clean, 10-5, big majority, Tyler. And I've worked with Tyler over the years, and we both share some interest in politics. And he's one of the smartest guys working in government. He knows it. He's got a lot of education. He works for a firm now and represents law enforcement officers all across the state. And we're glad to have him. And we're going in a new direction in County Commission, and I think it's exciting. Let's see. Tyler, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Let's look at, let's name the people under 50. We've got Sabra. Mm-hmm. We all know Sabra is. Sabra is 43. I think Aaron is 40.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, he's
right at 40.
Under 50 for sure.
No, definitely. He may be 39, but I think he's 40. Okay, so you got those two. You got Shelley's in her 40s. Help me here. Who else? Mark Foster's in his 40s.
Yeah, Foster and Josh and I are all in the same grade. Graduated.
Is that right?
Graduated together.
What year was that?
2002.
For some reason, I thought you were younger than that. What year did Chad graduate? 2003?
2003, I believe.
1 year behind y'all. I remember when the big city council.
Oh, yeah.
Back when y'all were 18 and thought you wanted to be politicians. No, I don't understand all that. But anyway, we're ready to go. We're going to talk about some issues that are facing our county. We have a lot of national news that's going on, and all of that trickles down. I mean, our property values are going up. We're going to deal with that in a couple of years, but you got to rebuy them. You got to pay the taxes. I've seen my home go up 40% in Oak Ridge in value. I know that because of refinancing and stuff. So we're getting some benefits out of it, but we're getting some incredible inflationary costs.
Yeah.
So Commission, you got a 1 year term? Is that how it works?
Yeah, it's a 1 year term through next September.
Okay, and then you see most people work a couple of years and get it done.
Yeah.
So what do you see, and I know a little bit because obviously I'm married to a county commissioner, but what do you see as the biggest challenge going forward from here?
I think the biggest challenge is just making sure everybody's on the same page, working together. There's a lot of issues facing Anderson County. Some distractions that we're facing right now, but we talked before the show. There's with the opioid crisis that is going on, not just in Anderson County but nationally.
But that affects law enforcement.
Yeah, it's a big
jail budget.
Yeah, we have a big jail budget. We have the sheriff's department does a great job.
I really think Russell does a good job.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, but those problems. Getting this opioid settlement money that we've been getting, making sure that, and the mayor was smart to put together a task force. I serve on it, Sabre serves on it, of trying to really bring in community partners and figure out where that money needs to be allocated. Because a lot of times, in county government or just government in general, when they get a big pot of money, if we don't have a plan,
that's exactly what I told her.
The money can go quick.
She said to me, some people were against something, and I said, of use of the money. I said, do you have somewhere else where it can go? And they said, no, they haven't come forth with anything. Then they're going to put it wherever somebody has a plan.
Yeah, and
that's what they do. And that's where. How much money do we have in opioid fund?
So there's two pots of money. There's money for programs that we can put money towards community outreach and things of that nature.
What's the other one?
The other money is money that we have lost, whether it be through EMS working, on opioid cases, the sheriff's department. So that's money that we can maybe reinvest into those areas.
The first fund is bigger.
Yeah, we've got close to $500,000 in that one.
Okay, and what about the sheriff? Now, you gave ambulance some money, right?
We gave the ambulance department some money to, we really when the EMS did a study, probably about 6 months before the election, Claxton, and there was other areas, but Claxton was identified as an area of need because the calls for service were a little bit longer. And so Commissioner Wandell and I were very passionate about having, at the very least, starting out with a truck being posted in that area. And so using some of that money to get more personnel to post out in District 1 to help, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., which is kind of their busiest times, to help reduce that call volume.
And that's a targeted expenditure. They can't put it in Oak Ridge or Lake City or what. The money was appropriated to put that truck in Claxton.
Yeah, that was the intent behind.
When I was 20 years ago, they had 2 stations in Claxton. Did they close the one up in Bonham by the?
Yeah, so the volunteer fire department uses that for
down the street from
extraction.
Jack's old house, right?
Yeah, for training. The Claxton Volunteer Fire Department does a really good job of, training, and they've used that facility for that. Then they also have the main facility, which is up near the school.
Yeah, before you get to Edgemore up on the hill.
Right. But I know it's a goal for a lot of commissioners, but Commissioner Wandell and I are very passionate about getting a station, a permanent station in the Claxton community. And I think the big first step is.
Now, is that not a permanent station?
No, right now it's not a EMS station, it's the volunteer station, but we're looking for
I got you.
an EMS.
I'm mixing up my stuff. I got
Yeah,
you.
so we're looking we want a permanent solution in District 1. And so I think, and everybody's on board with that, but having this truck there posting 12 hours a day, 7 days a week is something that.
Where are they posting at the?
So right now, they're posting at Weigel's, but we are working with a local business leader that has opened up a big rental business in District 1 across the street from Weigel's. So we're hoping that we can work something out with him to give them a place to not only get the truck out of the weather, but a break room, restroom, and things like that for personnel. So
Okay, so let's go back. I'm going to go back into my memories. This is from 15, 20 years ago. Station 1 is right near Second Baptist Church and the
Yeah,
jail, right down
it's
there. That's
right
their
there.
major station, right? Oak Ridge has a station right as you come into Oak Ridge on the right, across from Memory Valley, Lake, whatever it's called, Lake Hills Drive. So
Yeah.
right across there, back by the condos, there's a permanent station there. There was.
yeah,
Is there still a permanent station on the west end of Oak Ridge?
I believe so, yes.
See, I negotiated a contract for Mayor Lynch with the Roane County to serve a portion of that.
And we still
where
have
got a
that.
ratio. Okay, so that justifies even more for that. So you got 2 stations here, you got 1 in Clinton, where it is. Okay, where's the next station?
So I should know better. There was a station in Rocky Top right next to the police department.
Yes. Still there?
The building is still there. I'm not sure how much that is used, because I will
So
tell
who
you.
goes on a call in New River or Briceville? There's nothing close.
Nah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the facilities for EMS is another thing that we need to
Oliver
look at.
Springs has one.
Yeah,
That
Oliver
would
Springs.
probably serve their area.
Across from
Go up to
Norwood.
New River, 30 minutes.
But the facilities are really aged, and it's something that, as a commission, we've been talking about, of really looking at our county facilities, not just for EMS, but across the board.
How much stimulus money? It's used for concrete, isn't it? I mean,
So, yeah, that ARPA money that we got, we're down to,
we had 11 million at one time.
yeah, we're down just under 3 million, I think, in that
What we've
3
been
million.
using it on.
So there's been a lot of good things that,
I know there has. I just
yeah, so ranging from, giving the sheriff's department 2 years worth of money for cars. That's been
I
a
didn't know you
big,
could use it for that.
yeah. A little over $2 million went to the highway department for paving.
Yeah, that's the stuff we hear about.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. You don't have to name them all. Let me ask you this. Undesignated fund balance. Before ARC and stimulus funds, there was always, Recovery Act, there was always, we were battling to keep the undesignated funds.
Yeah.
It's been high the last few years.
Yeah, we're in good shape as a county. We have, it's unaudited right now, but we're in that $10 to $12 million
That's where it's been
range.
for a while,
Yeah, and so Robbie's done a great job.
Robbie Holbrook, he was there as an assistant to get.
Yeah, Robbie is.
He did a great job.
Robbie does an amazing job, and the mayor just announced at Commission the other night that last year's financial reports qualified as is being recognized by the GFOA as exemplary reporting. We're in our fund balance, as you know, Commission several years ago passed a resolution
That's right.
that anything below a certain amount
Yeah, we're kicking.
that you'd have to have 2/3 vote to
Yeah.
spend. Well, we're far away from that amount.
Yeah.
And so we're cash on hand, we're doing well, and it's a testament really to,
And I think these young people, we named 6 of the 16 or 7 of the 16, they're conservative.
yeah,
They're pretty conservative. That's good.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you have to spend money on. The services that our citizens expect, they want to be safe. They want to have good roads to drive on. They want to have, when they call an ambulance, they want to, have an ambulance show up and take care of them. And they want to have good schools for their kids. But one of the things that we are looking at is we need to be very strategic in our thinking and where we're spending our money. There were a few things that came before budget just this past month that got deferred out to our strategic planning workshop that we're having in October.
Okay.
Just as because we've got big priorities, we've got big projects that are out there that need to be looked at. We've talked to Justice Center Golly Bum for how many years? It's been a long.
I was on the original one that long.
Yeah, and so.
John Allen's dad.
Yeah, so that's those are discussions that are coming forward that we need to look at.
I think I know everybody else likes it. I can't see it. But I mean, that's me. I'm not privy to all the information in the documents, but that's amazing. We're up to 50, 60 million now.
It would be a big price tag.
Well, you got to be willing to sell stuff off to raise capital to get there. I mean, you sell the
Exactly.
Jolly Building or you sell
Yeah,
this or
and that's so one of the things.
real estate's a good investment.
So what we're looking at is, I've been working with purchasing and the mayor, going down and looking at all of our property and the real estate that we have. Mm-hmm. Is it something that we really need on the books? For an example, the old drug evidence building, it's not being used anymore. And really, if we walked in.
Community Bank over there?
Yeah. It's not being used. Even if we tried to use it, it's violating every code in the city of Clinton. It's because of how run down it is. So we're looking at that parcel as maybe something to see what we can do with. And I'm sure there'll be others.
We worked on and give Mayor Frank credit for this and Congressman Fleischman, but we worked on a grant, the congressman called me, worked on a grant for a new building there on what's it called? Where Payne is.
Yeah.
That supposedly they're going to get $3 or $4 million to help build that building back.
Yeah, so hopefully our EOC center right now is, having traveled the state a lot, especially here recently.
We're a bit behind.
We're way behind. We're way behind.
Yeah, that's the way it always was.
Got great leaders and great people, but we need our infrastructure needs to
Well, and I
improve.
think we're making more money, we're collecting more taxes.
Yeah.
I think we just got to move the money into the right places. I mean, everybody's worried about catching up with salaries, and I get that. We got to be competitive, but at some point we got to reinvest that money into take on some debt and build some buildings and do what we have to do.
Yeah.
No matter how small, not luxurious. We always fought all the time in the Lynch administration with people that want to buy gold bands rather than silver or bronze, to use, a figurative statement. But
Yeah.
you can be economically sound and still invest in bricks and mortar. I think that's part of it.
Yeah, McMinn County does a phenomenal job. They went through a strategic planning session similar to what we're looking at doing, what we are doing
that group, yeah.
in October. And I mean, this is a county now that's debt-free, that has 60 million squirreled away, and being able to.
Who did that?
McMinn.
Yeah.
Being able to do some projects that are very meaningful.
Yeah.
So
They're good at it. Hey, let's take a break. We'll take 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll be right back with the chairman of Anderson County Commission, Tyler Mays.
Daniel Forrester has been trusted by Anderson County families for nearly 2 decades. Daniel has appeared in Anderson County Chancery, Circuit, Sessions, and Juvenile Court thousands of times over the past decade. A Rule 31 mediator, Daniel has been trusted to mediate hundreds of cases across Anderson County. A community leader, Daniel has worked closely with local officials to make Anderson County a better place. A conservative and dedicated husband and father, Daniel's faith has shaped his character and integrity. On March 5th, vote Daniel Forrester for Anderson County Chancellor.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
Fan Gear Barn is Oak Ridge's source for new and vintage sports fan gear from around the world of sports. Find your favorite team gear at Fan Gear Barn, located at 977 Oak Ridge Turnpike, across from the hospital. Open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week. Closed on Sundays.
At Navarro, we partner with our clients to advance clean energy and deliver effective solutions for complex challenges in the nuclear and environmental fields.
When should you get tested for COVID-19? You have symptoms of COVID-19, such as runny nose, congestion, sore throat, fever, cough, shortness of breath, muscle pain, headache, chills, or loss of taste or smell. Current testing recommendations say everyone should get tested immediately if they have symptoms of COVID-19. If you have symptoms, be sure to follow recommendations about how long to stay home and away from others. For more information, visit our If You Are Sick or Test Positive webpage.
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Welcome back. We're talking to Tyler Mays, long-time resident and political activist and politician and hard worker for the Anderson County government. You've loved politics your whole life. Got a lot of politics in your family.
just kind of in it and around it, and my mom's family, my brother and sister have no, they vote, but that's about it. But I kind of, the bug hit me, the
Seavers were good. I remember when I was playing at Oak Ridge High School. I was a junior when Larry was a senior.
Yeah.
So we were playing. I'd score some points. He's playing for Clinton. And he comes out and he comes up and he says, "Hey, Bo, Alan, you're really pretty good." Something like that. I laughed. But I was always. We played in the summers. I really liked Larry. I was at the UT last week, and he had the big jumbo board for Condridge, and he was on there testifying to Condridge, and all the time he played with him, everything. And Larry's just good people. What's he doing now?
So he's been had different businesses over time, the vending business, and then just a while back he started a portable restroom company.
Huh.
Well, that's now grown into a very large company, and so if you go to a UT game, if you use one of their portable restrooms, you're using Larry's. But his son Charlie went and played football at Tech, and then graduated from Tech, came back home, and so now he's working. He runs the show, I believe.
Oh, that's good. Well, yeah, because me and him, we're in our late 60s. I'm sure he doesn't want to do that all day. That's where we're at. Okay, so let's go back to the opioid money for a year. You got $500,000. How will it come in? Does it come in $1 million at a time? Or?
No, and that stuff, some of that's still unclear. But what we do know is there are some companies who, part of the settlement agreement, will pay over an 18-year span.
Right.
Some have decided to pay up front. Some have decided to pay over 8 years. It's still being unwrinkled as we speak. But a lot of the money is starting to flow into counties in Tennessee. And every county's been a little different. When the mayor started the opioid settlement task force,
Okay.
There's 6 of us commissioners on there, and our intent is to really be strategic and to pinpoint where that money needs to go and put it in the hands of people who are truly working the streets and working with these folks to try to get them help. And so we've had, ASAP of Anderson came to the last meeting, presented and talked about their services. They do a great job, but we're opening it up. We really want to use that money wisely and try to make a difference. That's the purpose behind it anyway. But a lot of families, my family included, I had an uncle who passed a year ago due to opioid abuse, and it's something that hits us all.
Hardly any families untouched.
Yeah, and so I think the 6 of us that are on there, all 16 of us are passionate about it, but there's 16 of the 6 of us who are on there. We're extremely passionate.
Yeah.
Saber sees it every day in her job.
She does.
Shelley's been impacted. We've all got a story that's hit us personally. So it's really important for us to see that money go into the hands of some truly dedicated, whether it be organizations, individuals, or what have you, but really reinvesting into that cause in Anderson County.
And you mentioned something earlier. It's right. It's had an economic impact and devastation on a lot of different segments of our society locally.
Yeah.
It's not been easy.
No, it's been tough.
And some money back from those pharmaceutical companies makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So I makes sense. Okay. Well, let's talk about taxes. We had no property tax increase again this year. Doesn't look like we'll have one for a couple of years.
No, I don't. Our fund balance is in great shape. This last budget.
When's the reappraisal? Was it this year or next year, or when is it? That's when it hits.
Yeah.
Most people find out. Ooh.
Well,
everybody wants their home to be worth more, but nobody wants to pay for the increase.
No, and so, this year we had a lot of, the sheriff's department came with a big ask that was definitely warranted.
Yes, it was. I've traveled around. A lot of them getting 20, 25%. And
yeah, I mean,
Sheriff Barker came with a reasonable proposal.
No, I thought it was very reasonable. The men and women in that department, and even really, and especially at the jail level, the work they do, it's special. And so that was for me, it was an easy ask. It was something I was happy to support. But also, a lot of times when you get big requests like that, you have, you've got another section of employees that you want to take care of. And so we were able to move from a 4% raise to a 7% raise for our employees, including EMS. And that's probably one of the biggest raises they've had in a long time.
Oh, no question. 7's big.
And so we were able to do that. We're able to do that with any property tax increases. I think it's just a matter of, we set some priorities and held true. And the other fee offices did a really good job of putting together, solid budgets and still being able to move their office forward.
That makes sense. And that's what we need. I just hope it will. The big argument in the past was they used non-reoccurring funds for reoccurring expenses. You can't do that. I mean,
no,
you don't need to use the $3 million to balance budgets. You need to make it work where you're at.
Right. And, our budget committee this past year, and they did a phenomenal job. Everybody on the budget committee did really good on setting priorities, being able to it's not always fun telling groups no, but I give it to them. They all did a great job on putting together and presenting a very solid, balanced budget that commission could really get behind. And so kudos to them, and I look forward to joining them on budget. Tracy and I are
Switching back?
Yeah, so
Well, Tracy's kind of an operations guy.
he loves it, and he does a great job. He did a great
Well, he
job.
knows it all.
He did a great job on budget, but I look forward to getting on budget as well. So it's a good group. I know they've got some great ideas.
But you're a money guy anyway. You've always been a money
Yeah.
manager. You know what you're doing. Before you joined commission, had you ever been on elected office? No, I'm sorry.
So
we'll go through the circuit court clerk thing, and I get it.
Yeah, but I was appointed to finish Barry's term.
I lost a steak dinner on that, remember?
I know.
You ain't got it yet, but there was a thing I said, you're never going to be able to pull that off, and you did. you got the votes.
Well,
And I was impressed with
I was
that.
very appreciative of
Yeah, they had a lot of confidence in you, didn't they?
yeah, and there's still some on there. Commissioner Wandell was on there then, and Commissioner White.
Definitely Commissioner McCamey.
Definitely Commissioner McCamey.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the first elected office that I've held. I've been, as you know, been involved in it since I was 18 when Brandon Fisher and I became friends, and then here we are.
Well, you may text him this show, so I'm just, you can just take the show and text it to him.
Yeah.
He can watch it. So I'm going to say hi to him. I hope everything is going well for him and his wife in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They doing well?
Yeah, I believe so. I haven't really got to talk to him in a while. He's got, kids growing up.
Oh,
and, staying busy with his job, and then, me I've got Kennedy and Jack, who, Jack's 6, Kennedy's 12, and she still has the Kennedy coin that you gave her at Outback from 10 years ago. So
Still like Jack Kennedy and Robert Kennedy. I think
people think that's why I named them that, but
okay. Why did you name him that?
my wife, she wears the pants.
Why did she pick the name?
It was one of those where
I like the name.
it was either going to be Jackson or Evan, and her cousin beat us to the punch.
It's funny though. You see all the Reagans in the last 20 years. There was never people named Reagan until Reagan came along, and you get some of that.
Yeah.
And you get people like that just. So we're talking about the history of Tennessee government today. I was talking to an old timer who served in the legislature, and we were talking about the changes in 30 or 40 years, not just Democrats to Republicans, but just the overall way things gone down. I mean, we've had some outstanding political figures in the state.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have a hard time. My favorite two governors were back to back, and that I'm going to go modern era. Bredesen and Haslam did about as good a job as you can do in that job. They're
no
both
question.
fiscal conservatives.
Yeah.
They knew how to manage things, and Phil Bredesen was pretty sharp. I knew Phil. He's a pretty sharp
Yeah,
guy.
the governor was.
He come in. He no nonsense. What do you got to say? What do you want to do? And he was great.
Governor Haslam did a great job as mayor in Knoxville and carried that over.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was the environment it is today, but he was able to manage it. He had guys like Bill Haggerty and others working with him. I mean, he had some brains up there. But it was, and I'm a huge Haggerty fan. I gave a talk for him one time. He was there, and I said, the difference in this room is obviously a big Republican rural event. I said, everybody in this room loves Donald Trump, but Donald Trump loves one person in this room, Bill Haggerty. He was the Secretary of Japan, ambassador. And he looked up to Bill and looked for advice from Bill, and and Bill was just so sharp, and he's still sharp. He's still doing a great job for us in Tennessee. And there's other people. So I think you guys got challenges to go. I think you're going to do some great things. I hope that we're going to be able to. I think your infrastructure is going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you? But I keep hearing everything's growing everywhere.
It
Andersonville, Oak Ridge is growing.
Andersonville's busting at the north end of the county is busting at the seams.
Yeah.
Claxton is busting at the seams. As you know, Oak Ridge. As construction.
We're commercially growing.
Yeah.
But Anderson County is not where we're growing. We're growing on the Roane side, County side.
So residential-wise, going towards North Anderson, it is, and as construction costs slowly come down, they're not nowhere near what they used to be, but houses are being built, permits are being filed.
But as the value of these houses go up, everybody's taxes will go up because of the value of the houses over the next few years.
Yeah.
And that means that there should be more money for you to operate government with.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to at least that much, that we have money to improve stuff and do stuff.
And we're, even with that, it's, again, we really want to kind of be very strategic, and Commissioner Palmer, when she kind of presented the idea, she had befriended someone in McMinn County at a commissioner meeting. And we really kind of ran with it. It's something that a lot of us, all 16 of us, are excited about really just, we have a 2-day workshop where we're meeting with a facilitator and really laying out the priorities of Anderson County. What can we agree? Can 16 of us agree?
And
what
if you get if you get that, then they can't go back and say, "Well, we don't want to do that." You say, "Look, we agreed to this."
And look, we're all better when we're together, and so that's kind of the message that I really want to kind of keep going with on commission is, we can't do this without all 16 of us buying in, and
which they haven't been able to achieve in Washington or achieve in Nashville.
Well,
but they got such big majority sometimes. It's okay.
But we got 16 different personalities. But at the end of the day, everybody loves Anderson County.
And we have a diverse county.
It is a very diverse
county. When I was sitting around thinking, when I graduated from high school, before I went to college to play ball and do different things, I had been to Hammers twice and traveled to Clinton High School to play ball. And that was basically the only time I ever went in the county ever.
Wow.
So, people just didn't move around as much.
No.
And, Oak Ridge was intact and Clinton was intact. And let's take just a few minutes to talk about the game this weekend.
Okay.
Oak Ridge is playing Clinton tomorrow night. Very favored game, everything. And, I think that the young man who quarterback reminds me a lot of Sanders' kid. The kid who quarterbacks Clinton. He's very talented. What is his full name again?
Joshua Keith.
Joshua Keith. His father's the coach.
Yep.
Good athletes. Put on some beef.
He has. He's gotten some muscle mass.
And our good friend Seaver's kid. He's a giant in the middle, isn't he?
He is. He's coming off an ankle injury. He didn't play last week, but feels good this week. I actually talked to him today.
What is his full name?
So Rhett Severs.
Rhett Severs. Let's give a holler out to him.
Yeah.
He's going to play small college, isn't he, at least?
He's definitely getting looks at it. I don't know what his, matter of fact, his dad was with me when I just was in West Tennessee, and so we asked him that very question because there's schools that are looking at him. And so he's just.
You got to want to do it. It occupies a lot of your time.
He's filling everything out. He definitely wants a career, I think, in broadcasting and sports. He loves it. But
sounds like a Blue Raider there. We got the best communications college in the state in Murfreesboro.
But he's had a good year. It's going to be an interesting game. Joe Gaddis being back on the sideline for a game, and it's Commissioner Wells and I have been mouthing to each other a little bit today.
Oh, he's into that.
Oh, he likes to run that mouth about the game. He wore his Oak Ridge shirt to the commission meeting on Monday. I'm glad he left because when I became chairman, I was going to mute his mic.
That's great.
After that shirt, but I think it's going to be a great game.
Oak Ridge seems to be very, very good on defense.
They are. They were good last year, but this year.
So the question isn't so much. It looks like our defense versus the Clinton offense is the time it matters.
It is. It's.
I don't know how much offense we have or defense Clinton has.
Well, of course, I'm all dragging.
That's okay. That's okay.
But I think Clinton has a lot to play for and a lot to
That's
prove.
Right. They're more motivated.
But
got to get on. We've always said Clinton wins once every decade, roughly, right?
Roughly, yeah.
And it's their turn. And this is their best shot right here. I think Coach Keith would like to have it. I think he deserves it.
Well,
and they've been close. He hasn't had any blowouts, really.
No, and this game right here
this
game here will decide the region.
Yeah, but you're not playoffs, are you? Just got to get in the top four and survive, right?
Yeah.
Except the other side of the region, you don't want to get in the fourth because you got to play somebody good.
Yeah, West is not somebody you want to.
Yeah, I want to skip them in the first round if you can. I don't know.
For sure.
What are they ranked? Number one or number two?
I'd say they're up there.
Oak Ridge was 5, but I think they'll fall back, obviously.
Yeah, I'm hoping they'll fall back after Friday.
Yeah, they'll fall back a little bit and get that done. Let's take another break, and then we'll be good.
Daniel Forrester has been trusted by Anderson County families for nearly 2 decades. Daniel has appeared in Anderson County Chancery, Circuit, Sessions, and Juvenile Court thousands of times over the past decade. A Rule 31 mediator, Daniel has been trusted to mediate hundreds of cases across Anderson County. A community leader, Daniel has worked closely with local officials to make Anderson County a better place. A conservative and dedicated husband and father, Daniel's faith has shaped his character and integrity. On March 5th, vote Daniel Forrester for Anderson County Chancellor.
We should never lose sight of our health. To keep moving forward, let's not forget everything we've learned. Limit the salty food options. Make your own daily exercise routine. And always receive regular checkups. More than anything, we have learned how important these small steps can make a big difference. So we can all continue to move forward together.
All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
At Navarro, we partner with our clients to advance clean energy and deliver effective solutions for complex challenges in the nuclear and environmental fields.
Fan Gear Barn is Oak Ridge's source for new and vintage sports fan gear from around the world of sports. Find your favorite team gear at Fan Gear Barn, located at 977 Oak Ridge Turnpike, across from the hospital. Open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week. Closed on Sundays.
All right, so it seems to me that Commission, and I don't get to watch very often. I watched the first 3 or 4 times my wife was on, and the whole show, and it was really interesting with a lot of young people. But it seems to me that books and libraries seem to be taking up a disproportionate amount of time, especially in the public hearings. So I'm going to remind our viewers, there are some books that are on the state website that have been approved. They're basically how-to books for teenagers and other people on sexual orientation and how they, I mean, I think they're trying to teach and say, not something most of us want in our libraries, and some libraries have it behind the counter, some have it out. But I had a conservative advocate friend of mine in D.C., who works out at D.C. and up in the Northeast, said to me, the safest place you can put them is in a library. Nobody goes to the library. Nobody's looking at the books. He was so funny. He said they run around on these things all day long to see whatever they want to see.
Yeah.
He said they're not going to look at a diagram that tells you how to,
Yeah, it's a tough, I tell you, it's both sides are very passionate.
That's for sure.
And what I don't like is I think that the bothersome part for me is just how inflamed it has gotten. And
But isn't that what they see in Nashville and Washington and everywhere?
Yeah, it's they're not. And again, it's I'm not taking a side here, but I think that the library. I know that the library board has changed a little bit. Our law director, Jay Yeager, has made some policy recommendations to the library board. To protect the county from litigation. Now, I would like to see the library board look at those, and I know they are, but look at those and enact those, because we don't want to be susceptible to and an easy target for litigation. But
especially when they threaten it in front of you. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah,
stuff,
it's one of those too. When you get threatened with a lawsuit, you kind of you know this, I mean, you kind of just at that point, you defer to your attorney.
Well, you don't talk anymore, that's right.
And so, and that's not what we want. I mean, and as chairman, I want to be respectful to both sides. But we have to find a way at the library board level to get this done. And I think, too, what folks need to realize is that it is not an Anderson County Commission library board. We've got a couple of folks on there, but there's folks from the city of Clinton, there's folks from the city of Rocky Top, city of Norris, that are appointing them.
Who appoints them?
Those folks.
Who?
The city of Clinton.
Okay.
We have, Commissioner Anderson serves on the board. The county commission just appointed Michelle Jacobs to serve on the board.
Don't know her.
She's a great lady. She, at the library, when my daughter was growing up, she volunteered there for some.
I like the Clinton Library. I used to go there sometimes when I had some.
I just don't want this to, I felt like we were making progress. And I think that maybe over the last week or so that we've taken a step back, and I plan to attend the next library board meeting, because I want the citizens' voices to be heard. I do, and we've heard.
But it needs to be heard on that level. It doesn't need to come in and spend 20 minutes in slideshows on something in our county commission that's been discussed 5 times.
Well, and I think some of the presentations, and again, as chairman, I think that I want to look at some of those very closely in terms of, is this something that needs to be on our agenda?
That's right.
I respect anybody's position. Now, I don't have to agree with it, but I respect people's convictions.
But once you get to 6:30 in the evening, it needs to be limited to 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's business. But I think that our consent agenda, the intent of it was to get things out of the way, such as proclamations, such as the public hearing section, to honor the kids in the community that are excelling, whether it's academically or athletically, recognizing folks in the community who have made a big impact.
Sure.
That's what I want to see that 6 o'clock time go back to. And the presentations too. I mean, I've said this in operations. I've said this in full commission is, giving somebody a 30-minute mic on just giving their personal opinion is not something that we need to get in the business of. We
were not designed for that.
No, and if TDEC comes in and gives us a report on, American Nuclear on Blockhouse Valley.
That's different.
That's different.
That's business.
And those are subject matter experts on those topics.
Right.
I'm a parent of 2, but that doesn't make me a subject matter expert on what books need to be in the library. I've met with the library directors one-on-one, and I have shared my concern about a couple of the books that are in circulation that I would like to see behind the counter.
Yeah, me too.
But I think there's a way to go about it and to get things done.
You got a rule of law. You got a process. Nobody needs to be circumventing that process with their agendas, whether it's a conservative or liberal agenda. You've just got to go with it. As bad as the things we're discussing can be, pornography, drugs are a heck of a lot more impacting on our community right now. Youth using drugs as a young person, other things. I would like to see us dedicate more time to how we're going to solve those problems.
There was a press release just yesterday that the mayor and the EMS put out about infant mortality rates are up. And those are the things. When I see that, and I see our opioid crisis, and I see, recidivism being an issue in our jails.
Sure, it always has been.
Kids who are, when they leave school on Friday, they don't eat again until they come back to school on Monday.
Yeah, that's rough.
Those are the things that, and I'm not taking away from everybody's passion.
Sure.
On these issues, but those are the things that I'm passionate about.
It gets to a point where somebody's going to come in and say, Song of Songs in the Old Testament, or some other thing has all this graphic visual language in it, so we need to take the Bible out of the library. I don't want to see it get to that. I want it to come in, and I want to see it. I want to see us have some tolerance and patience for each other. That being said, most of the books, if I was a librarian, most of the books that have been complained about, I would have them out of my library.
Yeah, I would. I mean, there's there's a couple that, and look, I want to be respectful of all walks of life and belief systems.
That's right. My belief isn't rule of law. That's right.
But there are community standards.
That's correct.
That we must adhere to. I do wish, and I think what's happened is that it has become so inflamed that heels have been dug in, lines have been drawn in the sand.
But that's the nature of those two groups.
And we've got to stop that. We've got to come together and work and figure this out. You know, and I know that it is going to be a daunting task, but I feel like that we can get there if people can just truly have the purest of intent and really want to work together to come to a
not
resolution.
condemn the other individual. The concepts, I get it, but you shouldn't come and say these people are this and that. I mean, there was one post about grooming people for other people to take advantage of it. It's crazy stuff. It doesn't need to be on a private post, I get, but in our commission, we don't need to be dealing with stuff.
Oh, yeah,
that lambasting and stuff. Let's change subjects. Let's go to schools and tell me what the condition of our schools is. What do you think?
You know, I tell you, Dr. Parrott does a tremendous job.
I like him and Kelly in the city.
Yeah, Kelly does a great job. Now, Dr. Parrott, he is a very conservative individual.
Oh, no, he's been on here twice. I know.
He does not, and they have done a great job of growing their fund balance as well. Just announced Clinton High School, Claxton Elementary, and I'm wanting to say Fairview, but I may be wrong on that, and I apologize if I am, but we're level 5 schools this year again, and that's I think that's third year in a row for Clinton High School. A lot of great things going on, a lot of great programs that the schools are doing. A big issue that's coming up is the school board has purchased land in Claxton. They had purchased the old Fellowship church right across the street from the school. So they've purchased that property, which is a little over 30 acres. That will be the new site of the new Claxton Elementary School.
So it's going to go across the street.
It'll go across the street, and I think, to my understanding, the preliminary plans is that the entrance will be off Raccoon Valley on down.
Makes sense.
It gives them a very long, at least about a mile of a roadway for pickup lines.
Get away from Clinton Highway, yeah.
And so there will be an exit off Clinton Highway for emergency purposes and emergency vehicles to be able to access that school faster.
From behind, maybe. But what do you get from what's the calendar? When do we break ground? When will kids be going to school? What is projected?
Yeah, so the projection right now is that I think they're hoping by 2025 would be fall of 2025 would be maybe the first time that they're in the building. Now, I haven't seen any renderings yet or anything like that. I know they're working with Michael Brady, which he's done really well in Anderson County over the years. But they're working with them. They've had a lot of soil studies, and everything's good on that end. That is their goal, is to move the students out in a couple of years, which would be great. I mean, what's bubbling under the surface there. I mean, parts of that school was built in the early 20s, and so
is that right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of issues bubbling under there, but with the 4-lane coming, that makes that real estate very attractive. And so
what's the schedule on the 4-lane?
God, that's yeah. Well, I know that it's been in the discussion.
I know that Sean Gleason over at Seacom was very active in that, and he's been pushing for that road to be widened as well. I don't know much about it.
What's going to be interesting is building the new bridge connecting Edgemore from the dam side to the Oak Ridge side.
That's a big bridge.
That's going to be a big project. And of course, we've got the decommissioning of TVA,
Of the Bull Run side.
of the Bull Run steam plant. And
Then right down the road, we got Joe's new facility going in there.
yeah, Spire
Spire
Park coming in South Clinton. A lot of excitement centered around that project. I think they're hoping to be done in spring of '24 is the goal.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. They were like anybody else, had trouble getting steel, for their buildings and bridges. And
Yeah, they tell me HVAC units. I was talking to some developers in Oak Ridge, and HVAC units are not that panels, electrical panel,
Yeah.
year out, year delivery on.
yeah, and that's one thing I want to give Dr. Parrott a lot of credit for, is really through the ESG model, putting a lot of new HVAC units in our schools. I think almost every school now has a new HVAC, and it's got that filter system where it comes back in and it cleans that.
So
air.
that HVAC center at Claxton School would be moved across the street?
I would, if it's brand new, I would hope so.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. So it would be some cost savings there.
Of course, it may be 2 or 3 years before you move into a new school, too.
Right.
So you don't know where that's going, et cetera, et cetera.
But it's definitely one of those where the school, the community's outgrown it. It's time, and we really needed to get off that. I mean, traffic in that area.
It's horrible.
I mean, we could put 4 sheriff's deputies out there, and you would still have a speeding issue. It's just when you've got Clinton Highway, Raccoon Valley, and Edgemore intersecting there, it's a tough one.
And what is Raccoon? What goes to Oak Ridge? That's Edgemore. That's right. We got them all 3 there. Okay. Okay, channel, let's take a final break here. Let's run the sponsors through. Thank you, Daniel Forrester, for being our main sponsor, and we appreciate all the energy companies as well.
Daniel Forrester has been trusted by Anderson County families for nearly 2 decades. Daniel has appeared in Anderson County Chancery, Circuit, Sessions, and Juvenile Court thousands of times over the past decade. A Rule 31 mediator, Daniel has been trusted to mediate hundreds of cases across Anderson County. A community leader, Daniel has worked closely with local officials to make Anderson County a better place. A conservative and dedicated husband and father, Daniel's faith has shaped his character and integrity. On March 5th, vote Daniel Forrester for Anderson County Chancellor.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
Fan Gear Barn is Oak Ridge's source for new and vintage sports fan gear from around the world of sports. Find your favorite team gear at Fan Gear Barn, located at 977 Oak Ridge Turnpike, across from the hospital. Open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week. Closed on Sundays.
At Navarro, we partner with our clients to advance clean energy and deliver effective solutions for complex challenges in the nuclear and environmental fields.
When should you get tested for COVID-19? You have symptoms of COVID-19, such as runny nose, congestion, sore throat, fever, cough, shortness of breath, muscle pain, headache, chills, or loss of taste or smell. Current testing recommendations say everyone should get tested immediately if they have symptoms of COVID-19. If you have symptoms, be sure to follow recommendations about how long to stay home and away from others. For more information, visit our If You Are Sick or Test Positive webpage.
All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Okay, we're on our last segment here with Tyler Mays. We've learned a lot. I haven't even talked much because Tyler's got all the answers. But at least that's right. So I think all of the commissioners are excited that you're the chairman. I think I've always said the chairman's main job is to maintain control of the meeting.
Yeah.
Now, leading up to the And afterwards, you got to do a lot of stuff, bring people together and work stuff. I think you'll get along with Mayor Frank fine.
Yeah,
Mayor Frank's well organized, smart. She does a great job.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
I
have a
nothing
good
but
working
praise.
relationship.
When you look at Mayors across, she's in the top echelon. She's smart. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah,
she's political savvy. She's good.
Yeah, we've, prior to being on commission working with the Sheriff's Department and, working through budgets and working through just different projects. And now we've, what's refreshing for me is we don't always have to agree.
No.
We don't agree on everything. But, when we walk out, we've got, we're still looking towards what's best for Anderson County. And so far it's been a great working relationship, and I don't see that changing. And I was, it was definitely humbled to get the support from my colleagues.
A lot of your colleagues.
Yeah, it was an honor, and I look forward to representing them in any capacity that I get the opportunity to. But like I said, and I agree with you, it's about running the meeting. It's about keeping order, keeping structure. We have a new parliamentarian, Michael Foster.
You get him a book so he could read it?
Yeah, he's got
Study
his,
up.
he's got that long 4-H and FFA background where we're both big into rules. And so I think that's something that we want to make sure that, if we got the rules, man, we just got to follow them. And so.
Hard was 16. Hard was 16.
It is, but you just got to be consistent.
Well, the parliamentarian's got to call people. Myron did it for years, other people smart. You just got to get them say, we can't really do that. You can't wait for somebody to ask you. You got to speak up if it's out of line, et cetera, et cetera. But I'll go back to my thing. I just think we're going to get younger people in there. I think people my age, in their 60s, and people have an obligation to create a path for younger people to take leadership positions and do things. And unfortunately, so many people in my age group are older, just want to hold on.
Well,
I don't get it.
I think about, Commissioner Isbell, who has been incredibly hospitable to the new commissioners. And
yeah, he is. That's his nature. Right?
He has been really good to, help us, explain things. Foster and I have kind of been around for a while.
Yeah.
I've been around commission for 20 plus years.
Right.
But it's a little different when you get in the seat. And so
sure.
He and Commissioner Wandell and Commissioner Yeager has been.
How smart is he?
Oh, God. Commissioner Yeager has been a true teacher to a lot of us.
Yeah.
And he just handles.
He's well liked by everybody.
Yeah, he's a favorite. He just does a great job, not just for
I like him. We text sometimes. I just like him. His knowledge of the business world is through stocks and stuff's through the world.
Yeah.
That's why he retired at 40 or whatever he did.
Exactly.
He got out
That's
of
why he's in
Indianapolis and he came south. He's done a great. But let me say this too: the seniors that are still on commission are like the Tim Isabel's 58 or 60, and you got, Mac's been there a long time, McCain and Jerry White. These people love their communities. They do a good job.
Oh man,
They do a good job.
I love hearing Commissioner White, how passionate he is about the schools in his district.
He pays attention to it.
Especially, he's a big fan of the libraries in his schools. He visits his schools a lot.
Well loved.
Commissioner McCain, he's been around for a long time, and he's his institutional knowledge is hard.
That's exactly right. He'll come up on a thing,
Yeah.
and I know he's worked with you and Saber and others. I mean, I think they all work together to help the senior center get ahead.
Absolutely.
And the senior center needed that, and I know the mayor was very active in that and did a great job with that. So we got 1 minute left. Let's talk Clinton Oak Ridge.
All right.
Give me a final score.
Final score, I said this actually earlier today. Mm-hmm. I'm going Clinton 34, Oak Ridge 28.
That's Columbus was bold. We've had people that are bold and dream and project, and they take tremendous chances, but that was maybe one of the most boldest predictions I've ever heard. I'm going to go, and my Oak Ridge people will stick with me on this. I like Coach Keith a lot.
Yeah.
I'll go with 20. I'll go. What was either one of mine? I think it's going to be low scoring. Let's go 2017 Oak Ridge.
Wow.
Is Clinton got a kicker?
PAT only.
So he's not a field goal risk
No.
outside?
No.
Yeah, you got to make those two, right?
Yeah.
So,